Carli Judice takes on Nicolle Caliari this Saturday at UFC 318. And this is a good fight. I think this is pretty evenly matched. Both these ladies are pretty young in their careers. Not the best records, 8-3 in Caliari and 4-2 in Carli Judice, but Judice is very young in her career. She's fought some really talented opponents in the short time that she's been pro. So looking forward to this one. I think this one opens up the entire fight card, the first prelim. So Carli Judice, she is 26, 5'7", and has a 68-inch reach. She fights out of Lafayette, Louisiana, so she's going to have the hometown advantage in this one. She has a couple losses, but they're by split decision, and they're to really good competition. Ernesta Caracache and Gabriela Fernandez are both, they have much more experience than her, a little bit bigger than her, and she was able to arguably win both of those fights. But, she took that Caracache fight on Dana White's Contender Series on 10 days' notice, and it was only her fourth pro fight. So, that's a big stage to take a fight on short notice in front of Dana White and everybody. She had a really good showing of herself. But she's a really good striker on the feet, great footwork, in and out, cutting angles, fights really well behind her jab, puts out a lot of very consistent volume and just stays busy against her opponents. Really good kicks, side kicks, had the head kick knockout in her most recent fight over Yunea Dubin. Can take a punch too. She's really tough. I would consider her kind of like a scrapper. She was in some really good scraps against Caracache and Gabriela Fernandez, just very back and forth fights where, she showed her toughness and her cardio as well. She can put a lot of volume out there and push a high pace for 3 rounds. She's gone 3 rounds in, her Contender Series fight and her first UFC fight, and then showed the ability to get her opponent out of there in her last fight against Dubin back in March. So hopping right back in there. Very young. Like I said, I think she's 26. Yeah, 26. But she's showing really good ability so far in her career. Only been doing it for like 3 or 4 years, I think it is. And 70% takedown defense, so able to keep it on the feet, keep it in her wheelhouse where, she's going to be the most effective. Nicolle Caliari, she's 28, 5'3", with a 62-inch reach. So she's going to be 4 inches shorter and give up 6 inches in reach, which is going to be substantial because I think that Carli Judice is going to be able to keep it on the feet, defend any of the takedowns or clinch work from Nicolle Caliari, and just kind of pop at her and be more offensive and be landing the better strikes in this fight en route to getting a decision win. Caliari, she throws with really bad intentions. She will shoot for takedowns, look for submissions. She's very strong, much shorter than Judice, but I would give her the strength and power advantage. She had some good throws, some good judo throws on the Dana White's Contender Series, and she's a finisher. She can finish the fight on the feet. She can finish it on the ground. She has a few arm bars off of her back. She feints really well on the feet to open up her strikes. Shoots good takedowns, has really good timing, and like I said, can finish on the feet or on the ground. She has a few KOs, few ground and pound KOs, and some armbar and rear naked choke wins. She's coming off of a split decision against Ernesta Caracache. That was a very close fight. I would give it to Caracache, but she was kind of struggling with the reach and the length of Caracache in that fight, and I think that's what she's going to be going up against in this one against Judice, who, she was fighting very well going forward in her last fight. Throwing straight punches, snapping the jab, throwing teep kicks out there, setting up the head kick that eventually got, what's her name? Dubin. Eventually got Dubin out of there. I just think she's going to be too long, too quick, more technical on the feet. She's going to have that 5-6 inch reach advantage. And I think she's just going to have good takedown defense. Like I said, 70% takedown defense. I think she's going to be keeping Nicolle Caliari at the end of her jab. And I think she's just going to be landing the better strikes the entire fight. I think she's going to put a lot of volume on her and put a pace on her as well. And just have the better cardio overall. So I'm going to go with Carli Judice to get this one done by decision. Thanks.